Well, thank you very much for the introduction. As he said, my name is Wojtek Wodzicki. I'm the CEO of NGEx Resources. We're a Lundin Group exploration and development company with two very large copper-gold projects in South America. We're listed on the TSX under the symbol NGQ and have a current market cap of around $230 million. 2 years ago, we spun out one of our exploration projects called Filo del Sol into a separate company that's now listed as Filo Mining, also on the TSXV. That spin out created around $165 million worth of value for our shareholders. In November of last year, we announced our intention to split the company again and separate our exploration assets and our Los Helados project from our more advanced Josemaria project, and in another spin-out that we hope will generate, or has the potential to generate, similar value to what the Filo spin-out did. So we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail further along in the presentation. The long-term fundamentals for copper are the strongest of any metal, and the NGEx story is really driven by that strong outlook for copper and the scarcity of large advanced projects to feed the projected need for new copper mines. We think NGEx is one of the best plays to play this macro theme, and there'll be a bunch of other talks at this conference that talk about that mismatch between strong long-term demand and the lack of new projects that I think really demonstrate that copper is the best metal to be in. The long lead times for mine development mean that there's really a premium for projects that are construction ready. And we're already seeing premium prices of close to 1x NAV being paid for construction-ready projects such as Teck's QB2 project. So there was roughly $1.2 billion paid for a 30% interest in that project. Our goal is to get somewhere close to that premium for our projects by taking them further down that development pathway. So we currently trade at a price to NAV of around 0.1, 225 million market cap. Our flagship Josemaria project has an NPV at 8% of over $2 billion. And we're focused on getting that premium valuation for our projects. So we think we can do that by demonstrating that Josemaria has a clear path to production and convincing investors and our partner and potential partners to recognize that. We believe we can do that by completing a feasibility study and advancing with the permitting as quickly as we can to try to close the valuation gap between what we think, where we're at now, and what we think the ultimate potential for this company is. If our work and improving copper prices get us to even a 0.5x NAV valuation, that would represent a significant return for our shareholders. So a little bit more about our key assets and where they're located. They're two large copper-gold projects in South America, right on the Chile-Argentina border. We're located around 140 kilometers southeast of the major mining center of Copiapó, Chile, and that's right where Lundin Mining's Candelaria operations are. Our flagship project is Josemaria, which is located in San Juan Province, Argentina, just a few kilometers from the Chilean border. We recently completed a pre-feasibility study, and that deposit now hosts probable reserves of 6.5 billion pounds of copper, 6.5 million ounces of gold, and 29 million ounces of silver, all of which are recoverable into a precious metal-rich copper concentrate. It's a simple open pit that mines away the top of that hill. It's about a 0.7 to 1 strip ratio. Our recent PFS showed robust economics at $3 copper, an NPV of $2 billion, IRR of almost 19%, and a very fast, for a project of this size and scale, payback period of 3.4 years. As I said earlier, our current market cap is around 230 million, so we trade at less than 0.1x NAV. Josemaria really should trade at a premium because it's got a lot of advantages over a lot of competing projects. It's about a 1 billion ton resource overall, low waste to ore strip ratio, less than 1 to 1. We think there's opportunity to reduce that strip ratio with further geotechnical work. Our highest grade material is right at surface, and it's that high grade surface material that drives that 3-year payback period. Over the first 3 years in particular, when we're in that high-grade material, this deposit has the potential to produce 170,000 tons of copper and 350,000 ounces of gold per year. Drops slightly in the remaining 17 years of mine life, but it still stays above 120,000 tons of copper a year. So that's about as much copper as Lundin Mining's Candelaria mine produces, and it's about as much gold as a significant-sized gold mine like Fruta del Norte is going to produce. Josemaria has got a number of advantages over similar projects in either Chile or Peru. We have access to nearby groundwater, so unlike a lot of the projects in the Atacama Desert, we're not going to need to use desal or pump water long distances. And there's no communities or people nearby, as you saw from that picture earlier, so that's a significant advantage. We're not relocating anybody. And then we believe that there's a lot of enthusiasm in Argentina for mining development, foreign investment. We're in San Juan Province, which has was very familiar with mining and has a very favorable permitting regime. So we think this is a project that can be advanced quickly. Our next steps at Josemaria are to complete a feasibility study. We've already launched into the field work in support of that. We expect we can complete a feasibility study over the next 18 months or so. We will start the permitting process in parallel with the feasibility study, and then we're expecting positive progress on a water source, and we think we can get the permitting done in a reasonable amount of time. Once we submit our environmental impact study, it's 12 to 14 months in Argentina for the permits. In December 2018, so a month or so ago, we announced that an intention to split NGEx into two companies. A company that will be solely focused on advancing the Josemaria project, a single-purpose vehicle, much like Lundin Gold, which is focused on developing the Fruta del Norte gold project in Ecuador. And then an Explorco, which will hold Los Helados and our other exploration projects. 2 years ago, like I said earlier, we created about $165 million worth of value for NGEx shareholders through a similar spin-out of our Filo del Sol project. So we hope that we can do something similar with this second split of the company. The Explorco in particular, I think, is going to be a really interesting vehicle. In the last 10 years, NGEx geologists have found more than 28 billion pounds of copper, 22 million ounces of gold, and 150 million ounces of silver. Our Los Helados project is actually the third largest copper discovery made in the last 10 years, after Pampa Escondida that BHP holds and the Cocula Camoa discoveries in the DRC that Ivanhoe holds. This Explorco will put that exploration team back to work generating projects to do it again. What I want to do with the last few minutes is just talk a little bit about our Los Helados project, which will stay with the Explorco. We're going to work hard to realize the significant value that we think Los Helados has. It's at least double the size of Josemaria. It's a bit more of a complex project, but it has one huge advantage. It's 10 kilometers from a much lower grade operating mine that's owned by our 40% Japanese partners at Los Helados. And our analysis shows that processing Los Helados through that nearby infrastructure would add significant value to a combined operation. So our focus with that project is going to be on getting a deal done with our partners. We've been very successful with a very simple business model in this company over the last 7 or 8 years. It's basically find good projects, make them better through successful exploration, and we've got some significant skills now on running early stage engineering studies, and then figure out a way to monetize that asset. We successfully did that with the Filo del Sol project, generated a lot of value for our shareholders, and there's a lot of opportunity to do that again. With the Explorco, we're setting ourselves up to repeat the success that we've had over the last 7 or 8 years. Thank you.